Hello, happy New Year, everyone. We're back. And I'm Marina Franklin, and this is
Evelyn Frick.
Happy New Year, Evelyn.
Oh, thank you. Happy New Year to you, Marina.
It's been way too long.
I know. Well, I was just thinking, I think it's been like 3 weeks since I've been on the stream.
I know
So it's been a minute.
yeah, it has been 3 weeks. Yeah, the holidays are officially over.
They are.
Thank God. We can
Yeah.
get back to our lives. What did you do during this time?
I took it super easy. Hanukkah was like a week before Christmas. So I was just in the city. I hosted a Hanukkah comedy show with
That's
my friends at a caveat, which was really fun. And then my parents actually went out to Chicago to visit my sister. So like I came home for Thanksgiving, and so they're going to spend like Christmas that time with
It was
her.
cold. Were they
It was
okay?
They were good. Yeah, they're Midwesterners, so they're kind of used to it. It's actually really funny. I was
It was
talking
cold.
or My girlfriend was on the phone with her mom earlier today, who's her mom lives in Minnesota, and I heard her describe 16 degrees as warm. So that was funny. But yeah, I just kind of stayed around the city. It's always so interesting to be in New York around the holidays because I feel like a lot of people leave
They do.
to visit their families. So it kind of feels like you have the city to yourself in a lot of ways. So I was just like in a lot of cafes doing a lot of like my own writing. I haven't done like a ton of stand up over the last few months. So I've just been writing new bits. And, in the new year, my goal is to be doing more. So I had a lot of time to do that, which was really nice.
Oh, that's good. That sounds peaceful.
It was very peaceful. How was your holidays?
It's not peaceful.
No.
I went to Chicago and yeah, no, that cold. I try to explain to people that New York weather is different from Chicago's. Even Chicagoans don't believe me when I say it.
Yeah.
Like as cold as it can get in New York,
Hmm.
it nowhere near
Yeah.
touches what it can do in Chicago. I mean, I'm talking like I had a video. I don't think maybe I'll try to share it here. I suck at sharing stuff. Juskow is so good at that because he just keeps everything. But
Yeah.
the dog that I was trying to walk at my sister's house did not even want to go outside.
Oh.
The dog actually, I opened the door and the dog looked.
Hmm.
I never seen a dog like think about it.
Yeah, yeah. I was like,
Like,
maybe.
cause it was that Friday before Christmas
Oh, yeah.
was in Chicago was brutal. A lot of people didn't make it out, because of
Yeah.
Southwest Airlines and all that bullshit. But like, I saw the weather forecast early and then I always like to brag about how I'm good at stuff. Sometimes I can hear myself when I edit my own podcast. I'm like, you sound obnoxious. But yeah, I actually went they said to go early, so I changed my flight. There was no change fee, so I left early.
Oh, wow.
I left
That's
on the
fair.
Wednesday instead of the Friday because the Friday looked impossible. And then
Yeah.
I couldn't help myself. I actually checked to see
Yeah.
if my flight did go out on Friday, even though I was in
Oh,
Chicago.
yeah, yeah.
And my flight was the only flight.
Oh, wow.
So had I kept my original flight, I would have gotten out. It was the only flight that went out.
But it's, like, such, like, by chance. Like, you never know if it's gonna work. My girlfriend actually did end up going to home to Minnesota for Christmas, very last minute because her mom was supposed to, like, hang out with, her aunt, and her aunt got COVID, so her mom was gonna be,
Oh,
like, alone for the holiday, so Sophie was just like, "Oh, no, I'll go." But yeah, so she like super last minute bought a flight like Christmas Eve to Minnesota, and we were just like, fingers crossed it actually happens. And she was slightly delayed, but she was able to get out, and did not check a bag, so did not have to deal with like lost luggage or anything like that. So
don't
it,
check bags, people. If you
yeah,
can, I know it's impossible. Sometimes you have to.
yeah,
But if you don't have to, and you're traveling over the holidays, if you don't
oh my
have
god,
to, don't do it. It's funny because when I had to check my bag going
yeah,
because I had medication.
Oh,
but
sure.
coming back and it was all fluid and stuff. But I put a note. You could get a note from your doctor, by the way, if you have like medication that is like
Yeah.
fluid or creams or anything. You can get a note from your doctor and put that on your carry-on and it'll
Yeah.
go through. I've done that too.
Oh, nice.
And I should have done this this time, but I did check it going in. It was fine. But coming back, I didn't have anything to bring back because I had all taken all my medication.
Oh,
So
sure.
I did not check it back. And the woman behind the gate was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't do that either."
Yeah, well, I just like from a few weeks ago, like I remember seeing videos and pictures on social media of like baggage claims just full of lost bags. Yeah, and my first thought was like, oh my God, how many of those bags have like medications that people need, have like
Yes.
sentimental like items? It seems like a nightmare.
You're right about that. The medication that people need, it's a tragedy and it's really disgusting. And it's like they need to do what is it, FDA? They need to do something. And
Yeah, or
who's in
the
charge of
ethic.
that? That guy who ran for
Well, Pete
president.
Buttigieg
Mhm.
is Secretary of Transportation. I should know. Like, I don't know how much he has to do with like flight stuff, but yeah, no, he should do something because I think Southwest like pretty much is getting away scot free with like canceling everyone's flights,
Yeah, they're
um,
supposed to give them money back.
and I doubt they are.
And there are people now suing Southwest, which I agree.
Oh
I'm like,
yeah,
sue the hell out of them. Get your money.
yeah, I agree.
Get your money. You know,
Mhm.
it's the way they treat people customer service wise in the air is just, and even the pilots didn't know what to do. The people who work for the company
Yeah,
didn't know what to do. You can, and there were some videos of people yelling at the clerk. I'm like, you can't yell at the CEO, yell at
right.
that
Yeah.
guy who is saying, I know it's really bad. I'm like, where do you live?
I know, it's honestly such a lose-lose situation in those things because, like, the people who work at the airlines, like, who are, like, customer facing, like, only have so much power, and they're just oftentimes just as frustrated as the customers, but it's even more frustrating when you're trying to, like, go somewhere to be with family and it just does not happen. Yeah, I know, honestly, like, where does that guy live? Because people should be
Get
sending him
him, get
mail.
him.
Get
Um, so yeah, like here's a couple of tips that are, somewhat privileged. So I'll acknowledge that up top. I do know there's a privilege in what I'm about to say. But if you have flyer miles, frequent flyer miles status, go with the airline over the holidays that treats you well. Go with the airline that you have, like, where you get priority treatment, where you get priority status, where you get to board on the plane. Some of you don't fly enough, so I understand that you may not have that, but at least go with the airline during the holidays that you at least feel the most comfortable with. So I go with the one that I have, like, gold status, where they put priority on my luggage.
Oh, yeah.
I get to, board because they actually give about you. They
Yeah,
actually
that's
bo
real.
they'll rebook you on the flight because
Oh,
you have a certain status with them. They go, "Yes, Miss Franklin, we've already rebooked you on that flight." They take care of those people. The people they
yeah,
don't take care of are the people that don't take care of them. It's just that's how it works. And
yeah.
I have relatives that work for Southwest, so I won't like diss them. But I'm not a Southwest. I've never ever. I think years ago I flew Southwest because I had a, family emergency and I had to fly and it was fine. But I don't like the seats where you just run for your
Yeah.
seats. I don't
Is
like
it not
that.
assigned seating on
No.
Southwest? Oh, I hate that.
I don't play that game.
Yeah,
I ain't looking at you to see if you okay with me and if I'm okay. I'm not doing all of that,
yeah, yeah.
And then on American Airlines and I flew American Airlines cuz that's where I have my most miles. But I also like Delta Airlines. Delta Airlines
Mhm.
is pretty good. American Airlines they didn't have a cancellation on that Wednesday that I flew out. It was really good. They were
Oh,
communicative.
that's good.
Don't check your bags if you can. Don't check your bags.
Yeah.
If you have medication and it's like you got to get somewhere, I think we know until they get this together, maybe you should take a train. But even the trains were messed up, right?
They were, yeah, because of the snow, but I will say I do love, I mean, I think it's easy because my family lives in Pennsylvania, so I can very easily take Amtrak, but I do love Amtrak and I do love the trains. It's very
Look,
fun.
Mike is calling me out. I was trying to be nice.
That's so funny. He has the receipts.
He has the receipts. Yeah, I've never messed around with no, I don't do it, you know. I just and then they tell jokes on Southwest Airlines.
They
They
do.
they used to. I don't know if they still do. They used to be like kind of funny. I wonder what kind of jokes were flying around this time.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I probably didn't they couldn't make this funny.
Yeah, I would feel uncomfortable being on, like, a airline that feels that casual.
Oh, I see here that DJ Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome back to the Friends Like Us podcast. If you're here for the first time for the new year, we do this to review and preview the podcast, which is called Friends Like Us, which is actually audio. You can see the link tree below is scrolling. That's where you go to subscribe. So DJ Eric Prince here. Oh, there was a lady that had an air tag in her luggage, and the bag was not where United said it was for a whole week. Oh, wow. She could track
Yeah.
it. I think I did see that.
Yeah. Oh, I also saw a story of like some family was like traveling with their dog. And like the dog was like, they were like in the United States and the dog was sent to like Saudi Arabia or something. And they got the dog back eventually.
Oh, thank God. Look at
I
me.
know.
I was
I
like,
know. I knew I had to say that. Like,
I
but the
can't
dog was
handle pet
fine.
stories.
I
It's really
know.
sad that I'm like that. Like I if you told me it was a person that went to I wouldn't have but dog,
Well, it's
yeah.
hard because they don't know what's happening.
That poor little doggy.
I
Yeah,
know.
and that's why you have all these people lying about them being what do you call it? Pets. What do you call that when they have pets?
Oh, like emotional support.
Emotional support because of the way they treat pets. Like I had
I would not
ferrets years ago,
Oh, wow.
and I would not fly with them because I knew they would put them in the carry on in the thing below. I just won't.
Yeah,
I've heard
yeah.
too many horrible stories. I won't do it.
No, yeah, same, same.
Service dog. Yes, thank you. I can't get my words. I've had too much zinc. Someone told me if you have too much zinc, your memory is it could be difficult,
Oh, interesting. I'd never heard that.
aka marijuana.
Oh.
No. We call it zinc in this house. But
Funny.
yes, it's a crazy time. Uh, that's how I end. That's when you have a joke and you don't like know what else to say. You're like, yeah, it's a crazy time.
Yeah.
You just end it with that. So,
No.
how's your girlfriend? Did she hang out with you too?
Yeah, well, she just visited her mom for a few days. Like Christmas is like not that important to me. So I was just like hanging by myself on Christmas. It was really lovely. I saw some movies, and ordered Chinese food in like the very Jewish tradition. But yeah, then she came back. And I also took like the last 2 weeks of the year off work, because I've discovered about myself that I'm a workaholic and don't take enough time off. So I had all these like PTO days that I needed to use. So yeah, we just like hung out, and like spent a lot of time with each other and like have been like, I don't know, like thinking about like spending like intentional time with each other as opposed to like passive
Oh,
time, which is really nice. So like doing a lot of like journaling and like activities. So yeah, it's been really nice and really low key, which is what I love. But it's funny because like now, I've been like super busy because I've had a lot of friends over the last 2 weeks being like, oh, like we should like hang out. I'm like, yeah, like it's kind of like crazy for me until the end of the year, and now it's the new year, so I've been seeing friends like every night. But it's good. It's fun. I enjoy it.
when do we stop saying Happy New Year? When do you stop?
Oh, that's a good question. I honestly like if I haven't seen someone, like it's if it's the month of January and I haven't like seen someone or like talked to them really since the last New Year, I'll say Happy New Year. I think with, like, most people, like, I think 2 weeks-ish
So
is
next
what
Friday, that's a wrap.
I think so, generally speaking. I know people who, like, stop, like
February 14th
I think, like,
until the Chinese New Year?
that's funny.
When
I,
is
like
that?
oh, actually, I don't know when that is. It's soon, I think.
Ooh.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just think it's nice to wish people a happy new year, but I do know some people who are like on like January 3rd, I stop saying happy new
Wow.
year. Yeah.
There's a Curb Your Enthusiasm, I think, episode that they've been
Oh,
putting up on
yeah.
his Instagram. I love that he does that about,
Yeah, it's
like,
like
when you
January
stop saying
7th. Yeah.
Happy New Year. Everyone's working out in the gym now and trying to get it back and trying to reset.
Yeah.
You know, my expectations for Christmas are way too high. I wish I
Really?
wasn't like I wish I should start celebrating Hanukkah instead. That's part of my roots anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's a week long, so you can kind of spread it out. I mean, I totally get that. Like growing up, I like am from like an interfaith family, so like some my mom's or like some sides of my family like celebrate Christmas. So like growing up, I'd go to my grandparents, and they had like a huge Christmas tree, and like my cousins would also come. So it was like really big, and there were like a ton of presents under the tree for like everyone. And they'd have like a huge like Christmas Eve party. So like ever since like my grandparents like passed away, like we haven't really done that. And so it's kind of like, oh, if we're not going to do that, then like, what's the point?
Aw, Eric Prince brought up a good point. Yes, my birthday's on Christmas. It sucks.
Yeah,
People always forget, except for you didn't forget,
I did
Evelyn. Thank
not.
you.
Yeah, I mean, I
And
think it's easier because like since I don't really celebrate Christmas, I'm like, oh, what's the important thing that day?
yeah,
Marina's
it
birth.
is a hard one because, like, people get weird about, like, making time for my birthday on that day. I dated a guy once, and his mother was like, "Okay, so just so you know, like, we're gonna move your birthday to a different day because I
Yeah.
have all these plans already for us for the
Oh
holidays."
man.
And then I went to a party on Christmas with his family, and I remember the cousins were like, "Did she get you a cake?" And I was like, "No, it's okay." They were like, "She should have gotten you a cake." And I could just tell they just didn't like her. So
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
wanted to use my birthday, but then because then they made me think about it. I was like, "Yeah, why don't I have a cake?"
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
it's hard having your birthday. My dad used to come out with a muffin at midnight, like a cornbread muffin from the meal, and
that's so
stuff a candle in it and go, "Baby, we didn't forget.
funny. That's really funny.
Everybody's sick." And I actually enjoyed it because I was like, back then he would always give us all these gifts, so I was very happy. I was like, "It was a good
Yeah,
Christmas.
yeah.
I'm okay. It's
Yeah.
fine."
Yeah.
The candle and the cornbread is fine.
Yeah. One year you should just, like, host, like, a huge, plan it out months in advance of, like, a huge, like, birthday party for yourself,
I
and
used to
get people to come to
do
that.
you're right. I used to do at the Cellar at the Fat Black. I did a party one year.
Oh,
I think I
fun.
invited you. I think that year. I think it was right before the pandemic hit. But I think you
Oh.
were somewhere else because we did something at the Fat Black Pussycat and everyone came out.
Oh, I think that's right. I think that was,
Uh-huh.
I remember because I started working with you in, like, December 2019, so I think I had, like, just met
Just
you.
yes, yes.
I think yeah, like, I think I was, like, visiting family or something, but yeah, oh, that's fun.
And Juskow was singing. That's the video where we're singing, you know, Merry Christmas and all that stuff and Happy Hol That's where we're doing that whole thing.
That's fun.
He gets into my birthday a lot. It's really interesting.
Oh.
He can't see us right now, but Juskow actually is really good about birthdays.
That's really sweet.
Also social media has helped with having a Christmas birthday because I get all your messages, and so thank you. I
Mhm.
saw that Mr. or one of the misters
There
wish
were
me a
many.
happy birthday on YouTube. So it's all good. It's all good.
Mm.
I hope you guys are if you're just joining us now, we're going to add this person to the stream soon. I don't see him. I don't know what he's doing. Are you in the bathroom? What is your deal, dude? But we do this every Saturday. We took off for the holidays, and sometimes we take off when I'm on the road or Evelyn has a project or Evelyn's away. But it's very laid back, and we do this here to promote the podcast Friends Like Us, which is streaming, which is going streaming underneath the Linktree
Mhm.
/ Marina Franklin. Just go to that and you can see all the platforms where you can listen to the podcast. We have some really good episodes that we're showcasing right now, which are the favorite ones of 2022. One is about diet culture, about shaming people about food, and about having food in the meantime, which really stayed with me for the rest of the year because of 2022. Because I used to always talk about dieting, not realizing that's actually a privilege, you know.
Mm.
I would always tell people you shouldn't eat McDonald's, but you know what? For some people, McDonald's is a reasonable choice because of either, they don't have time, they don't have money, whatever your reason is. In the meantime, you have to do what you have to do. So let's not judge and let's not shame. It was a really great conversation. We talked about school, we talked about Tulsa. So check that out. Also, there's one with Bevy Smith, you
Oh,
know.
it's good. I
It
just re-listened to that one.
Oh, it gets greater later with Bevy Smith.
Mhm.
And that stayed with me too because she really celebrates her age. And I think that's really important. We're all getting older. We ain't getting younger. It gets greater later.
It's great.
Speaking of Barbara Walters, oh
I
man. I mean, that
know.
wasn't a good segue, but let's let's bring on the man. Are you ready? I could see you. You ready? Okay. All right. And here we go, David
Hello.
Juskow.
Merry New Year!
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Where's
Hello,
the
Evelyn. We
sound
haven't seen you
effect?
in 2 months.
I yeah, totally. Good for you.
Do you hear the claps?
I do.
Yeah,
I don't hear them.
we
Oh,
hear them.
weird.
Am I freezing?
No.
No.
In
Maybe
fact,
that's like
you
a new
look
feature
perfect.
that
You
Mallory
look
has.
hot.
Why can't I hear it? That's upsetting. Oh, is it still clapping?
Yes.
It's dying down. Now it's gone.
You said I look hot?
Yeah. Well, you said, were you freezing? And I said, you look hot. Hey!
Hey, you! Happy New Year.
You missed it, Evelyn. Last time we were doing this, my neighbor stopped by, and these 2 hot girls stopped by to get a corkscrew, and then they returned it the next day. It was unbelievable. I was already asleep on Friday when they came in at 9:30. They're like, "You're asleep at 9:30 at night on a Friday?"
They
Well,
came
I'm a
into your
little
apartment
older
while
than
you were
you guys.
sleeping?
What?
They came into your apartment while you were sleeping?
Well, they rang the bell.
Oh, I see, I see.
There are all
Yes,
these
thank
beautiful
you.
Jewish Venezuelan girls. It's amazing. They
Wild.
keep
From
going in and
Venezuela,
out.
huh?
What? Yeah, and I think they're very wealthy.
Huh. I know
Is
that
it?
there's like I didn't know that there's a huge Jewish population in Venezuela. I know there is
I didn't know either.
in actually Argentina, surprisingly enough. It has the
Right? Isn't that
7th
weird? Where all the
largest
Nazis went.
population where all the Nazis are. But yeah, I didn't know Venezuela had Jews. That's fun.
All the Nazis lived wonderful lives down there. Lived to be like over 100 and just enjoyed themselves for the rest of their lives. Isn't that nice?
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting because a lot of Nazis went to like South America and Argentina, but also the US recruited a lot of Nazis after World War II. It was this like CIA operation called Operation Paperclip. If you haven't heard of it, you should look it up. They basically just recruited a lot of like Nazi scientists so that they wouldn't go to the Soviet Union. And actually, one of the like a big guy in early NASA, this guy named Werner von Braun, was a Nazi, and he like basically started NASA.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. They could have beaten us.
Wow.
They were right there. It all could have gone a different way.
Yeah.
That's
They
so
came pretty good.
interesting.
You remember Norm Macdonald's joke? I was just thinking about it the other day when he was talking about Germany. I thought, he's like, I'm not afraid of North Korea. I'm afraid of Germany. I mean, these guys, they decided, a couple of years ago that they would just go to war with the world. and then he said, and then a couple of years later, they decided to go again with the world.
Oh, I miss him.
I do
That's a
too.
good impression.
Oh
That was
well,
that was
I'd
faded,
never
but it
done it
was good.
before.
It was
Yeah.
good. It was good.
It's only funny when he does it. It's not that funny a joke unless you have his voice.
Now I'm gonna bring this up because we're talking about you know Jewish culture, and I know this is gonna sound crazy as I say this, but my friend Alana, who's Jewish, made me watch. She was like, "You should watch the Bernie Madoff thing," and then we had this conversation today, and she was like, "I don't think this was good timing."
What? Oh, is it like this movie about
Wait,
Burning
the Netflix one?
Yeah,
Because I
this
watched
it's
the first episode and I wasn't that entertained.
oh, it's not entertaining. It's disturbing, is what it
Well, no, I
is.
mean, but the way they're doing it is like they're using like people like remember what Rachel used to do, those murder mysteries where they'd have somebody playing somebody else, but it's not an actual scripted show.
However,
A little
here's the
frustrating.
thing. I'm into
If
it
you say I should
because
keep with it, I will.
well, you know what it is? I'm not in you're right. Like it's kind of like canny and I mean, but the point I'm trying to make is she was right about how it's just showing a Jewish man in a really bad and the timing of it with all of this anti-Semitism is
Uh,
not that great.
well, it's never going to be good timing. So
What to
Yeah.
talk about but why now? Didn't they do a movie?
yeah, they've made like 4 movies on him. I have no idea. I guess they
Yeah,
just
there was this
he's
movie
an interesting fella,
that came
unfortunately.
out. It was, like, released elsewhere and then just recently
I mean, how
released
many
here.
documentaries are there on Hitler? The fact of the matter is these are very
Oh.
interesting people. Unfortunately, interesting in the worst way.
Well, I'll tell you, I watched it because I watched the stock marks, stock it market, the stock market because I understand these things now. I never understood the Bernie Madoff thing before, and now because I've been paying attention and I understand a little bit more of what it is and how to look at charts, and I know what trading is, and I know the terms. For the first time, I'm watching it, and I'm like, "Oh shit, this was
Yeah,
horrible."
but you know what the thing about Bernie Madoff is? It's really easy to understand. It's not complicated. He just took money from people that were investing and gave it to other people. It's
But
it's
it wasn't
really
just that. That's the thing. It was that these people, they believe it's like every story I have heard, even like the girl with the drops, right? The blood test.
yeah.
Oh,
It's because people look at you and they say, "You're like me. I'm going to believe in you and invest in what you have to offer."
Well, also he had a lot of people saying, "Oh, you got to invest with Bernie.
That's what
We've
I'm
never
saying.
not made money."
Well,
yeah.
but along with that is the beginnings of people giving him even getting to that point, you have to have someone go, "I believe in you and I'm gonna get you there." So you don't only get there if someone has some type of belief in you or faith in you. If you don't
Yeah,
have that, how do you even get to that position is much more harder, like the fact that
right.
the SEC didn't even they called they were like, "Hey, Bernie, do you know this is what they're" like, they really had his back for quite some time because he created the NASDAQ and all that, so they're like, "You should know this is going on." They gave him a benefit of the doubt where, anyone else, they would never have given them the benefit of the doubt.
No, they saw they saw where he worked in that lipstick building, and they're like, "Well, this seems okay. It seems legit." But they never went to that other floor where everything was not legit. Where it was so obvious, it was such a mess. Wait, what goes on here? They never found that floor.
The thing
Pot
that
Yeah,
Oh,
mhm.
go well, I was just gonna say, like, I don't understand the stock market, but I kind of understand, like, what happened with Bernie Madoff, but, like, what I really don't understand is, like, I don't know, like, what's happening with, like, the, like, crypto scheme and, like, Sam Bankman-Fried or
Yeah, I have trouble with
whatever.
that too.
I don't know, like, I trust that he, like, is stealing and he's also Jewish, and it's like, "Come on, man."
Yeah.
That
Well,
Well,
doesn't
that is
help.
also because there is so much. See, I think the lesson in that is don't get into something early because you think it's hot. It could be it could not it could be they found there was so much corruption in crypto. It was
Yeah.
not being monitored. So anything that's not monitored, why would you and the bigger lesson is like people who because they my biggest lesson coming from all of it is it's worth it to learn on
Mm,
your own. Anyone who tells you they want to manage your money, you don't need to learn all this stuff. You don't have the time, which someone told me, by the way. You don't
mm,
have the time. What you're a comic. What do you need to learn all this stuff for? when someone tells you that, that should be a red flag, because you don't need to go to school for it, but you should know the basics of it, of investing, so that you can make the right decisions, and so that those red flags do go up if they, because you have the information, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's your money.
Yeah.
I mean, the average person really does not have the time to look at the stock market. And back then they really didn't, because you saw how long it took to do one trade.
Yeah.
Was that funny? That was the
That
most
was
fascinating
hilarious.
part. So wait, so you've seen the whole thing or just one episode too?
I went all the way. I'm almost done.
So is it good? Is it worth
It's
continuing?
very good. It's very good because it's teaching me a lot about. Yeah, it's worth
Because
continuing.
I finished Emily in Paris, so I can move on now.
Oh my god.
Oh my God, Marina, you have no idea. It was amazing.
I will not do
Okay,
Emily in
amazing.
Paris.
Once they
I
got rid of
won't.
Kate Walsh, it really took off. Season 3 was just as good as any other season once they got rid of that horrible American.
I haven't seen any of Emily in Paris, but I have seen a really good critique of the show where Emily in Paris is essentially just like a gay white man's idea of like what women are. It's just like
That's why Juskow loves it.
It's just like a woman with like no like personality really, or like she doesn't.
I just
do
assumed all women were like Emily.
She just wears like cute clothes, and like that's
cute
the whole
clothes.
thing.
The reason I guess I just like it is because it is just pure fantasy in the sense they don't talk about COVID. There's no mention of 9/11, so
Yeah,
it's just a fantasy. And like you're saying, Evelyn, the clothing there's no way she can afford the kind of clothing she wears. And I'm okay with that because that's the kind of show it is. Who cares?
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
I
the guy that she is in love with is just gorgeous.
I think that's like a good way to like go about, like, or at least for me, like I'm not
Shut
like
up,
a
Catalina.
snob about like shows or movies, but like if you're watching something that you know is like corny or bad, like at least just like be like, I know.
Yeah,
I
But
will not watch it.
It's
I
just
will never watch it.
there's 2 really pretty girls in it, and I like that. And then there's a really good-looking guy, and then I get confused.
But back to this this Madoff
There's
thing.
a very handsome black man, Marina.
Back
Just
to
letting you
okay.
know.
Well, back to this Madoff thing. I just want to get this point out that is really important. Get it? Point important. Is that one of the biggest things I learned from the stock market and the corruption of the Wall Street, and I know I'm new to it all. Someone was saying that this is like been going on, but I'm new to it. So for me, it's like mind-blowing how I realized like the access to this information was not available intentionally for generations of Black folks and people of color who didn't have this information, didn't know how to invest their money. And then there's predatory lending that was going on. And so, it's odd that when Trump, I really like to say his name, was saying that the system is rigged, he was part of the system that was, I say they raped the system. That's what I call it. Because it's like, it's really intentionally preventing people from having these opportunities ever. So when you say things like, why don't you just pull yourself up by your bootstraps? It's like, why don't you stop raping the system so that I can have the access, so I can have the information, so I can make choices fairly? But it was never fair to begin with.
Right, exactly. Like I think in like finances and business, I think a lot of white supremacists and people who are racist point to that to show they point to the wealth of like Black people in America to be like, hey, like prove stereotypes about Black people, when in fact the system has been rigged to make that happen by white people.
I mean, there's a guy that I follow on. There's a couple of guys that you guys should watch. They're called Earn Your Leisure. They do Market Mondays, and they're Black. And they often have like guests on the show. There's a young guy they had on recently from Chicago, ironically, right? Because I'm from Chicago. And he was talking about his experiences in Wall Street. And my brother, my sister's brother, he actually worked at Goldman Sachs. And I mean, the racism there, the inability to be in those circles, it's crazy. And so like, you don't go to the same golf clubs, you're not in the same like if you're not in the same school, you're not in those same groups, you're never going to have access. And that is always divided. It's very segregated even within these financial highest up echelon areas.
Yeah.
Is like, people are kept out.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good.
Oh yeah, like that family in California, they finally got their beachfront. But okay, so there was a black family that finally got their beachfront in Los Angeles, and then they sold. They finally got, but they sold it back because there was no way. Apparently, they could make money off of it.
Oh, interesting.
So it was a generationally, it was black land, and
okay.
they kept black people off that land. It was segregated from black individuals from living there, and then they tried to right a wrong by selling it back to them. And recently, the family was like, "You can have this shit."
Ugh. That's so disheartening.
Isn't that?
Yeah, because they finally get it, and then they're still not.
Happy New Year! So yeah.
Yeah.
Happy New Year! But yeah, I was watching Pinocchio. Have you guys seen Pinocchio on Netflix?
The Guillermo del Toro version?
I haven't.
Isn't it?
Yeah, well, I don't know whether you know, but one of the best podcasts I did this season apparently was screaming about Geppetto and what a complete tool he was on the Tom Hanks version, because this guy he was an asshole. He didn't deserve to have his son come to life. And why would you send a puppet to school the first day he's alive, Exhibit A, and then not even walk him to school the first day? Of course he's going to get into trouble. So anyway, this answers all those questions, the Guillermo del Toro version.
Ah, you're right.
Yeah, there was he's being threatened. You better send that puppet to school. I like that.
Yeah, that is a good one. They did answer it.
It was driving me insane. I'm like, what an asshole. Who gets a live boy and says, all right, we're having a good time. Now you got to go to school. Why? I'm a puppet. And then at least walk your puppet to school the first day. Well, he didn't come home. I sent him out on his own with a lunch pail.
I cried. Did you cry at the end? I cried.
Did I?
You don't remember tears?
No, I don't think I did. I just enjoyed it so much.
I cried, and my niece, who is 5 years old, looked at me and was like, "What's going on here?" That's what she actually said. And then, literally,
did you watch the making of?
Wait, hold on. Literally 3 hours later, I'm not kidding. My niece, who's 5 years old, I'm in the other room, and I could see her she just leaned on the couch and she went, I'm not kidding. She goes,
She's mocking you? So rude.
I was like, are you mocking me? And she's like,
well, that's what happens when your parents tell you it's your birthday every day.
Yes.
No respect for anyone.
And she kept calling me a monkey. I was like, don't you dare call me a monkey.
My goodness.
She doesn't know how offensive that is. She just thinks it's a cute thing. So I was driving and the weather, was really bad. And I got there on the storm started on Thursday in Chicago. And my niece really wants the cookie crumble. It's trending on TikTok, cookie crumble. These cookies are like huge. They're like cakes.
Oh, I've seen those. Yeah.
They're not that good. I'm telling you, it's just they're making a lot of money because it's nothing but teenagers coming in there getting their cookie crumbles and hashtagging. It's very smart, right? But I risked my life to get her this cookie crumble. And I'm driving slow, and in the back seat, I hear my niece go, "Drive slow, monkey." I go, "You." And
well, that's epic.
My niece goes, "You watch her." I go, and she's like,
I would have laughed so hard.
She's having. She goes, "My sister says she doesn't understand." I go, "I think she does understand." Oh,
I can't wait to be back in the car with you again. I'm totally going to do that.
Oh
don't you dare! You are not allowed to do that.
Just the image of her, because I've seen your nieces on your Instagram.
She goes, "Why are you driving slow, monkey?"
Look what DJ Eric Prince said.
What? Start calling her Miss Daisy? She wouldn't understand it. That's the part where she could tap out. Oh my God! So we were talking about Juskow about travel in Southwest and like the things you should do for travel. Are there any things that you would recommend for people when they travel in the future?
Yeah, it's so obvious. Don't take Southwest Exhibit A. I mean, there's been multiple times where I see Southwest as a cheaper flight. and I won't use them. And I'd rather pay an extra couple of $50 because I don't trust Southwest, and because this has happened before with them. So those airlines like that, like Spirit and things like that, that are cheap, but you could end up paying a price. Obviously, it's
Right.
who knows what's going to happen. But with the bigger airlines, you won't have that problem. And sometimes paying a little extra, like for not making a stop, is worth an extra $100 for going nonstop. And
That's
other
such a
than
good
that, I
point.
can only say just always get to the airport early. It drives me crazy when people, leave only 2 hours early. I always leave 3 hours early, and I'd rather be checked in and ready to go and waiting
Yeah.
than they have real. I don't like to travel a lot because of that, but those long lines, and then I have to put it in my head to relax and calm down, because I'm always traveling by myself, which really sucks. It's nice to have another person to travel with. I would highly recommend that. It's sad traveling alone, and as you know, as a comic, you travel alone a lot, and you just have to put a mindset in your head to relax. Everything is going to be fine, and calm down, because it's very, very stressful, and most people are dicks, and most people at the
Yeah.
airport are disrespectful, let alone these passengers that have apparently gone insane on the air. I just sit and I keep. It's the only time you're going to see me quiet on plane travel. I don't want to make any trouble. I mean, these people, one wrong look, and these people go crazy. It's really insane.
Yeah, I had a woman who's I think I told you this. Her daughter kicked off her shoe and it landed on the floor. Well, I didn't know it was her daughter. I just saw a random like kid shoe on the floor. And
Yeah.
I was like, I was trying to look for a kid to match it with, because I've tried to be helpful. But the woman was right in front of me, and I didn't see it until later after they had already swept up her kid's shoe.
Oh no.
So I was like, "Oh, hey, I just thought I'd tell." Probably shouldn't have told it, but I said, "I just thought I'd tell you they just swept up your kid's shoe." She goes, "Oh my god!" And she leaves her child in the stroller with me, like,
Oh,
Oh my
right, you
hey,
god.
did tell me that. Oh, that was
hey,
at the
black
airport.
nanny.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Hey,
god.
black nanny, why don't you just stay here and watch her? Like, she didn't even ask me. She just left.
Oh my god.
And the line started moving, so I had to push the child forward.
Oh my
And this
Oh my
god.
god.
yeah, and this woman looked at me. She goes, "I know." And then I remember her husband, like later on, the woman comes back and she starts rolling the child. And the woman who's I connected with, who was like, "That's crazy." Her husband just noticed. He goes, "Wait a minute, you're not with her?" I go, "No." He goes, "Oh my god, I don't think I would do that." I go, "No, no, me and your wife already had this exchange because because you're a man,
You're late to this.
you're late to this whole experience." But it was crazy. It was
Oh,
insane.
I
that's
guess you
wild.
And
look
then the kids
trustworthy.
kept throwing stuff. The kid threw another thing down. And mom was. I was like, "Hey, you got another. You
Oh
got to
my
pick that up
god.
too." Yeah, it was nuts. I mean, and that was like it was crazy time. So people were really trying to just get out. So another recommendation I have is if you can get out on an early flight on standby, do it.
Well, as you know, also my recommendation, and this sucks, but it works like a charm, always take the first flight out. As much as it sucks to wake up that early and get out, it's rarely ever delayed. I mean, if it's delayed, it's delayed a little bit. The first flight out at 7 in the morning is usually it usually isn't interrupted because it's the first flight out. So that's
Usually, but here's
a lot of
what's been
people don't like to
happening.
take early morning flights, but if you're taking it to like California, that's the best, because then you have a full whole day. Just arrive there at 10 in the morning. You got a full
Yeah.
day there.
Here's what's been happening though with some of those early flights. The captain and the steward, they're like they didn't have enough sleep. Have you had that?
I've never had that.
I have. I
Oh
was sitting
no.
there and they were like, I was like, and I didn't. Like I'm like tired. I'm here. I got here. I knew
Oh
I
my
had an early
god.
Well,
flight.
I guess once in a while the captain has to be honest and say, I can't do it. I mean, I didn't sleep at all today because I went to that all you can eat Korean buffet yesterday. And I didn't sleep at all tonight. And I think if I had woke up and had to fly a plane, I would have had to tell somebody I can't do it.
Would you say I had too many wings last?
What?
I had too many wings last night.
Oh, you did too?
No, the pilot said that on a flight. I
Oh,
just
the
died.
pilot.
I'm sorry, y'all. I just had too many wings last night.
It was this place in Jersey, all you can eat Korean barbecue.
In Jersey?
Yeah, right off the George Washington Bridge.
Oh my God.
I've been waiting to go my whole life.
What I wouldn't do to hear your voice come over the speaker to say some bullshit like that.
Folks, I'm too full to fly.
People
I'm
be
sorry.
rushing the cockpit to whoop your ass.
Oh, it's like, it's too full to fly today.
Oh God. Yeah, direct flights, definitely take direct flights. I see that in the chat.
Well, that's what I said. I said that
Yeah.
you pay an extra $100 to take a direct flight. Let me tell you something, Evelyn, you're not even going to believe this. Marina, you were around when it was happening. This is unbelievable. What they used to have, what Delta used to have, and I won't fly with Delta anymore, but at LaGuardia, they used to have this water shuttle that went directly from my house, a boat that took you directly to the Delta water shuttle airport right at LaGuardia. So there was you never delayed. There was no traffic. It took out that whole thing by taking a boat, and it would drop you off right at the shuttle, and you just flew right on the plane. It was fantastic.
Oh wow.
You go to Boston or Chicago with that.
That's wild.
You know that
It was
boat's gonna
amazing.
drown
I
that
don't know why they
one
shut it down. It
time
was the greatest form of travel to the airport of all time.
because of what just happened on the ferry.
What just
Yeah,
happened on the
it's
ferry?
always some crime. It's always some union worker, some mafia shit that shuts it down. Whenever there's a question, whenever there's a doubt about why easy stuff isn't done, it's because there's some corruption behind it. Like I always wondered about garbage in New York City.
Oh
That's
my
all
God,
corruption.
right? Yeah, that's
It's always
completely.
corruption.
And I'll tell you, that ain't the Boy Scouts. That
Say
that's
Happy
the other
New
thing
Year in that voice. I would
with
love
the the what?
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year. You're okay, you know. Hey, how about Fantasyland? That's when he's giving the the guy's giving the lecture back to school, and he's just like, and there's going to be the zoning costs that come over all of a sudden, and he's like, and then the construction. I don't have to tell you who runs that, but it ain't the Boy Scouts.
It's not. It's not. But I have seen in Harlem, because I used to always say this, from 96th Street, and Eric, you know this, from 96th Street down or on Madison Avenue, you don't see garbage on the streets. It's all picked up. It's all in the corner. It's always nice. You get to like past 110th Street into Harlem, into poor neighborhoods. It's garbage all on the streets. It's like really disgusting
Oh my God.
how bad it is. And now they have these guys out here. I love it. They are picking up the senator that I had on the podcast, Kristen Richardson.
Oh, that's good.
She's has teams of people going around Harlem picking up the trash now.
Oh, that's good.
Well, where are they putting it?
Somewhere where it's not on the sidewalk.
We have no class. So he's doing back to school. I gotta.
Somewhat related to the garbage I saw the other day. So apparently, Eric Adams, like he was fined again because the building that he owns like had like rats in it. And so Curtis Sliwa, the Republican who ran for mayor against Adams and lost, took it upon himself to hold a press conference where he was going to release a bunch of feral cats.
I believe he did. And then he was cleaning them up
at Eric Adams' building to get the rats. It was so he was like Eric Adams has like tried like all these things to get rid of the rats, but not
yesterday.
Cats. Yeah, it was yesterday. So funny. I always Curtis Sliwa never fails to entertain me. He would have been a terrible mayor, but such a weird guy.
There is.
Okay, I guess it's probably an important time to mention this while we're talking about, politicians and corruptions. We just passed January 6th, and they remembered them yesterday, and there weren't that many Republicans there to give like
Not
some type of memorial to the cops that were murdered that day. I mean, these are police officers. I thought we were talking about Blue Lives Matters, and then what happened?
Yeah.
Where's all that?
I'm like kind of related to that. Like, I feel like I didn't see that much like news coverage of like it's been 2 years since the insurrection of the Capitol, which is so crazy to me. Like, I remember very clearly how like that was honestly pretty scary in the first few hours of that, not knowing what was going to happen. And I guess our society has just moved past talking about it, which is very weird to me.
That's
Well, I
intentional.
guess because
Yeah.
maybe it's because they've been, they've been airing the things they've been doing, the investigations and all that kind of stuff. So maybe maybe that had something to do with it, where it's still kind of fresh in our minds. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
Yeah, I
it's
think
like what Ted is saying here. They're busy voting on
yeah,
McCarty.
No,
no.
that's
So
true too.
yeah,
McCarthy.
That was
that was
crazy.
crazy. That one woman, I gotta tell Rachel, she should do her an impression of the girl, the Republican, because she kind of looks like
Yeah,
Rachel.
what's that crazy
Oh,
one? Shirley
Lauren Boebert.
Bobert? Yeah, right.
Hmm.
Bobert. So
That's
Every time I
funny.
saw her, I was
Oh, yeah,
like,
they do
Rachel
kind of
could
look alike.
easily do her in like a TikTok sketch or whatever.
Oh, for sure.
Because even as they clapped and she sat down like
she's insane.
Yeah,
she
Rachel just
is
need like a pair
insane.
of glasses, and
Yeah,
that's
that's
good
a pair
word.
of glasses, and Rachel look
Yeah,
exactly like her, but
I know. Yeah, I'm nervous to see like what concessions McCarthy made for like Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, like what committees they've been put on, because I'm sure he had to do a lot of work and give them a lot of power to be able to get to. And he didn't even like get like 218 votes. Like it was just it's weird how it works. But it was like I think 216 votes, and then a few people just did not vote at all, which kind of lowers the threshold for how many votes you need.
And nobody's talking about the fact like that the porn convention's going on in Vegas right now.
I
And
didn't know that.
oh yeah, it's every year at this time. I keep getting reports because my friend Lawrence is the publicist for it. So,
Anything
Are you-
interesting
but apparently he
happening?
just ran into Attell's manager there. He's like, "Don't tell anybody."
now you're into sports. Look, I sound like a lady who really isn't into sports when I say that you're into sports. So, oh my God, there's someone offering a promotion. How do I block you? So there's like this person. God, I'm so awful at this. The young man.
Oh, Damar Hamlin.
Yes, Damar at the Buffalo Bills, the 24-year-old suffered a cardiac arrest and required CPR. And it's too much. I
It's
keep hearing these stories. Like,
thankfully, I heard reports yesterday that he was off the breathing tube. He was talking,
yes,
and it
that's
Yeah, how about
seems
great.
this
like
though?
Thank God.
So I have this scenario. First of all, I was very upset about that in the sense of that they didn't continue the game, or they're not going to make it up. Because see, the problem with that I have is that the NFL is very two-faced. Like, it's not about the game now. It's not about the game. But they have so much gambling that they throw in your face all the time. They're like forgetting that they've made everybody gambling junkies, and we need to have the game fixed, or we need to have your football pool, your fantasy pool, because they're in bed with all that. That all being said, the worst part is if this was me and I wake up and the quarterback, let's just say Josh Allen's at his side, and he goes, so he said, this
He did
happened.
ask.
Did we win?
And they said you
And
won life. Yeah.
no,
yeah.
and then he would have said, well, we stopped the game. And he's like, what do you mean you stopped the game? Like we didn't finish it because of what happened to you. Oh, no, I don't want to be known as that guy. Why didn't you finish it? Oh, Jesus Christ.
So you're saying that when they said you won the game of life, he was like, bullshit.
Yeah, I would be so humiliated. I don't want, don't stop the game. I don't want to be remembered as that guy.
But I mean, like from like a PR standpoint, like if the NFL had continued that game, I mean, the amount of like
oh no, they did the
pushback
right
they got
thing, but
for
they gave
even
us
like
no information of when it, because it has all these, I know you guys don't understand, but it has all these other implications for playoffs and stuff. It was a huge game.
well, no,
And they
I
just
don't
gave
watch
no
football that much, but
information after that. And people have, I run a football pool where nobody knew how to score it. None of the gambling players, nobody gave us any information.
There it is. There it is. You hear
Well,
the
it's not just
gambling
me.
pool. You hear the
But then they got
corruption.
mad if you talk about it. But like I'm saying, they throw the gambling stuff in your face, and they're like, "Oh, we're not talking about that today." Screw you, you fucking two-faced bastards. Thank you.
I mean, talking about Damar Hamlin, I mean, I think it's just like it's so wild to me that he's like seems to be fine, like his brain seems fine,
Thank God,
and
because I think
like
he was out for a while, and that could have caused.
yeah, they had to like restart his heart twice, I think, and it seems like his lungs are fine too. So it seems like very miraculous that
Well,
he's
DJ Eric
he's
Prince, I don't know. I
okay.
never heard of anybody dying on the field, but back then they didn't have the kind of television. This was a national game, and if that did happen back in '71, it just wouldn't have gotten the exposure it would have gotten today, and the NFL wasn't what it is today. But that was a national Monday night game. That was, the one of the greatest Monday night games of the season. So everyone was watching. They said 20 million people were tuned. It was supposed to be one of the greatest games of the
Yeah.
season.
But it's just like, and then I've seen a lot of people, a lot of anti-vaxxers have kind of like latched on to this and being like, oh, it's because he got the
Oh
vaccine
my
that this
A
God.
lot of that is going
happened,
around,
which
like
is just
people
so
think that, yeah.
ridiculous.
It happens. Sometimes people have weak hearts, or you hit somebody in a certain way.
During this, yeah, it's like, I think what people, I can't remember the term for what it's called, but it's like if you are like hit hard in the chest on like a certain, like when your heart is in a certain like rhythm, it can actually stop your heart. And
Sure,
so
who
I think
knows?
that's what happened. And I've seen like doctors saying that they think that's what happened. But yeah, just turning this into like a vaccine thing
Football
is
is
just
very
ridiculous.
dangerous. It's a
It's so
very dangerous sport. I don't know. I don't know if I would have my kids. I remember seeing some documentary about how, like, even in high school or in college, a lot of white parents were taking their kids out of sports, but then the black kids would be playing because they didn't have the information. And it's not because they just didn't
Yeah.
know the effects of head trauma that
Yeah.
other parents knew. And so there's like an unfair, it's like who are we putting at risk more here?
Right, absolutely. I think I agree with that. I think I would not have my any kids play football. There are a lot of
Bro,
other really great
Well,
sports
these
that
guys,
are
but they
not
want to
as
play, and they've wanted to play since they were little. It's not like they're just
sure.
doing it because they like it. And you hear about these guys, and he really wanted to play bad. He loves it.
I know.
Yeah,
I
I'm
feel
sure
horrible.
of
I don't
that.
think
I'm just
he'll probably
thinking,
never play again just out of
no.
nervousness.
Yeah, I just think like like as a parent, if you have a kid, like with all that we know now about like traumatic brain injuries that can happen through and often do happen through football, like I would not let my kid play football.
Eric Prince is going down the history of people
Well,
who've died on the
Catalina
field.
was saying that too.
That's like,
Yeah, yeah.
in boxing too, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Well,
Actually,
that makes the most sense out of all of that. I mean,
quite often it happens, and okay, all right, DJ Eric Prince, we get it, we got you. So what else is happening in the new year? The oldest woman has passed.
who's that? The
Unfortunate.
one that lives in Queens?
Let's see, she's from Iowa, Bessie Larina. She was
Interesting.
115.
Oh my
This
God.
generation is actually, they lowered, it's very depressing, but they lowered the what am I trying to say?
Oh,
Like
it's yeah, the
mortality rate,
mortality rate, yeah.
or death
Or
expectancy. Yeah.
life expectancy. There we
Life
go.
expectancy has been lowered. Yeah. Whereas
Yeah.
from
I mean, it's not surprising with everything that's happening, but it is very
this
sad.
generation is not outliving their parents' generation. Like my sister and I were talking about that. Like our grandparents lived to a ripe, on my dad's side anyway,
Yeah.
pretty, a long life,
Mhm.
pretty long, and it's like this whole pandemic has opened itself up to so many things that people need to realize. It's not just COVID. It's also like those years that we stayed inside and locked in.
Yeah.
It's going to be some years of gaining back our health outside of just
Yeah.
wearing a mask, but also like eating right, and those things just it's just a fact. It's just science. We were sitting, a lot of us weren't seeing doctors,
Yeah.
so please take care of yourself in the new year. If anything else, I think the priority in 2023 is let's all get back to, just focusing in on our families, making sure everyone's seeing doctors, making sure everyone stays healthy, and being there for people who have lost someone. A lot of people are losing right now, and it's very sad.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point with like people like focusing in on health, especially in the new year. Part of that is making doctor's appointments and going and seeing for your regularly scheduled stuff, because early detection is important.
It is. I mean, and the hospitals are full right now, and
Yeah.
I gotta say this. There was a comedian, I don't know his name, but what do you think about this, Jessica? When he was on stage, I don't want to say his name, but he was joking about people who were wearing masks in the club, like in the small nooks and crannies. He goes, he goes, he goes, why y'all doing that? Like he was really making fun of them. He said, just because you wear a mask don't mean you safer. Like you don't get on a plane and it makes you safer because you put on a seatbelt. You ain't control of that. I was like, all of that is so wrong.
It does make you safer.
There's turbulence, motherfucker. But it was also like
well, he's uninformed,
But it's so hard for me to be okay with jokes. Like I know I'm not supposed to, like I try not to judge comedians, but that stuff drives me crazy. And I was talking with Dan Natterman about it last night, and I was like, I think the reason, and I hate this word, but I was so triggered by it is because he felt like a man telling me what to do. And it's something about when a guy starts preaching in his act, in a sense, I get like, you are trying to be like the Pied Piper.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, I mean that also just seems like not a good way to get the audience on your side.
Yeah, where was this? I mean, not at the cellar.
I won't say.
Yeah. But actually, I think that's a good lead-in to the reviews, because one of them actually brings up masks.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So this first one actually doesn't. I pulled it from Apple Podcasts. Just a reminder to leave friends like us a review, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. It helps.
By the way, Evelyn, I love the way you just checked my ass. You're like, time for the reviews, bitch.
Oh no, but no, because it's such a good.
I'm joking. But it was like, oh yeah, that's right. I get carried away.
I thought that was very proactive.
So this one I grabbed was actually my favorite review from 2022, from Just Efab, who said, great podcast, 5 stars, and said, this review is long overdue. Marina and her guests keep me informed and entertained. I have learned about so many comics. Marina hasn't had a Keisha moment in a while, but her Karen moments are just as funny. This podcast is just a feel-good podcast. Thanks, Marina.
Aww.
And
the Keisha moments, because I can't read sometimes.
And this actually review came into the Friends Like Us email, and it's actually from a few months ago, but I saw it was unread. But it's really lovely. It says, hi, Marina. I recently listened to the August 10th episode, When Sorry Is Not Enough. Thank you for talking about wearing a mask and your concerns about the long-term effects of COVID-19. As someone who has pre-existing conditions, it feels so isolating to be one of the very few people who still wears a mask and is concerned about the health effects of COVID. Hearing you talk about this made me feel less alone and less crazy. I've been listening to your podcast since the SoundCloud days, and I always finish an episode having laughed and learned something new. Finally, I recently stumbled upon your episode. You made it weird and was delighted to learn about you and your background. I especially appreciated your honesty and openness in that episode. Thanks for all that you do, and know that your art is important and meaningful. Best, Olivia Matthews.
Thank you, Evelyn. Nice. Thanks for finding that one, because that is true. Like all of that.
Yeah.
Because it is true. It's like, I remember Jessica, I was like, you can't advocate now because you got COVID. That's not true. The reality is,
no, it's completely true.
You do still need to wear a mask. They are actually recommending it because you know what? People are such assholes that they have given up telling us everything. So you need to get the information, stay informed. And let me tell you something, a lot of people are still getting this. I know people have gotten it second times, third times, and we aren't going to find out.
Why are people catching it?
Have you never gotten it, Juskow?
No, I never got it.
That is
crazy. That's unfair.
That really should be
I have
studied.
a very good immune system unless I've been drinking and I'm up all night, like today. So it's a good thing I didn't go out.
You don't have a good diet.
Meanwhile, how about this? No, I have a horrible diet.
That's what I don't understand.
My friend Lindsay just had a baby. Mm-hmm. And before she went to give birth, she had to get a COVID test. I don't know why. What are they not going to take out the baby? And she was having a C-section. And apparently she had COVID.
Oh my God.
And then they were like, what? And then like, now your family can't come in, which is devastating to a young mother. And Then they took it again, and it looked like she had it. I don't know. She was positive, but she had it for a while. They did some tests, so everybody was
wow.
able to come in. But she's like, "How could I have gotten it? I never left the house for 2 weeks." But of course, her husband was going in and out,
Oh, so then
so I
he probably
guess.
had
But
it.
he didn't have it. He was negative.
I
But
don't know. All this
obviously,
stuff
I
is
guess we
crazy.
carry it. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why
there's
I'm.
people who are not symptomatic, and then I guess they don't test either. But we still don't know a lot. I mean, that is the thing. It's kind of like the stock market. If you don't know a lot, please be careful.
Yeah.
It's just this is just common sense. But a lot of people don't use common sense. So I'm going to repeat that. If you don't know, just please be careful. Juskow is a mystery. He should be studied by scientists
Yeah.
because
I told you I was just
he's
at an
not healthy.
all-you-can-eat Korean barbecue. How can I not have COVID? That's where COVID started from.
Yeah, I just don't I don't understand. I just thought you should know. I had micro needling.
Oh, I've heard of that.
What's that?
It's where they take a needle into your pores, I guess, and they get the what's that called? The color, what's it starts with a C, and maybe it's not a C.
I don't know.
They get it going. The collagen.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I should know. See, look, here's an example of someone who did something she didn't know nothing about. So whatever happens, happens. But I am concerned. I'm like, so for like 2 days, my face. You ever see the road in the city when they redo a
Yeah.
street and they
Yeah.
scrape off the surface
Oh, yeah.
and it looks horrible. And then
Yeah.
and next week, all of a sudden, it's this beautiful street. That's what this is supposed to be like.
Oh, nice. When did you have it done?
I had it done like on Wednesday.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, your skin already looks really, I mean, it always looks good, but like it looks really good.
You see this right here? It bled here. It bleeds
Oh,
too.
I see it. Oh, okay. Yeah.
She bleeds you.
Oh my God.
It's gross.
Your favorite person had me go.
Got
So
enough.
how was your New Year's Eve, Jessica?
It was awful.
It was not awful. He sang. Oh my God, I got to pull that up for you guys. You guys talk amongst
I
yourselves.
wasn't like really happy. Like
What did
it
you
seemed
do?
like nobody was happy. I mean, we were at the cellar,
Oh, nice.
but it just kind of seemed like none of the guys that we've known for a long time, Nick, Dan, Lenny, everybody kind of seemed a little miserable. So, I mean, it wasn't horrible and we had a good time. I mean, I was sitting at this long table and we had good food from El Molino. I think it's called El Molino, right?
Yeah, very good food.
So that was okay, but I, was sitting with people I didn't really know. I mean, a couple guys I know from CNN, but I don't know. I wasn't with the other comics. I was just kind of by myself, and it was,
How is that she saw your little dance? What little dance?
Marina taped me doing a little
Oh,
dance.
nice.
Well, I don't play an instrument, so when there's an instrumental, I do a little dance.
Oh, of course. That makes
Part
sense.
of the song, but New Year's is just I mean, I feel everybody feels the same way, unless you're, well, maybe your age, I don't know, and just love New Year's, but most people just trying to get through it and get to midnight and go home. Just
I think
such
I've
a
reached
burden.
that. I think I've reached that age with New Year's. I
I think you
do.
reach it pretty quickly, right?
I just get tired. Like I don't want to because also it's like like unless like I mean going to Times Square and seeing the ball drop sounds horrible. I would never
Have you
do
tried that?
No, I mean
I
like
feel like
growing up,
everybody's got to try it once. I tried it once in the 80s.
I grew up with like watch like Dick Clark on like
Of course.
TV and like see the ball drop and like that was kind of fun. But like now it's just kind of like oh like after it hits New Year or like after it hits midnight it's like oh what now? Like it's not like super exciting to me. So yeah, I just kind of stayed in and had like a very relaxing evening. Watched When Harry Met Sally because that is a New Year's Eve movie. Yeah, and it was very chill. I don't tend to go out to parties because I just get too tired.
So what did you do this New Year's?
I stayed in with my girlfriend. We
Oh,
just
you did?
yeah, we just watched.
Well,
When Harry Met
if you don't have
Sally.
that option and you don't have a girlfriend or whatever, it's it's tough because I have definitely stayed home on New Year's and it's it's depressing. And
Yeah,
a
you
lot
need
of
someone to do it with you.
what I try and do is watch only shows that were recorded in the 90s, so they have no information. I always try and be watching something that has nothing to do with the ball dropping or anything, like Spin City or
Okay,
something,
yeah.
one of those
Can you
stupid
see
shows that's
this?
on. So
Yeah,
they
I
have
can see like
no,
ourselves a
they
bunch.
don't even
Crazy.
talk about
Oh,
9/11.
yeah.
They have no information. And I don't know. That's the only way out of it. But I've spent many a New years just hanging out because I'm just not in the mood.
Yeah, I got that.
But I will say, usually the Comedy Cellar has been pretty good to remedy the depression because all my friends are there and you feel in. And this year was okay. It was just a little different for some reason.
Is it just a party, or do they like are people doing shows?
Everybody's doing shows. Marina was there, obviously, but I was just there for the dinner that
Yeah,
Noam,
yeah,
the owner, put
the
together,
hours.
which was great. And he has all his friends and family coming. Why wouldn't they? He owns a club.
Yeah.
I mean, if I knew my friend Memo owns a pinball bar, and I was going to go there in Queens,
Oh, fun.
which would have been okay. But again, I'm just hanging out by myself, and it's just a little, I don't know, it's a little depressing.
I can't really get it to work.
That's okay. It's probably better
Sorry.
off.
You don't want to see yourself singing?
No.
What did you sing?
Summer Highland Falls by Billy Joel.
Thanks.
I didn't think I did
It's-
that good a job.
It's really great.
And it
but I
just sounds,
can't get
because
it.
where you were recording, it just sounds like nobody's paying attention either, because only Noam was playing and the other guy wasn't playing, and nobody knew the song.
No one knew that song?
No. Well,
It's one
the
of Billy
audience
Joel's.
might have known it, but the other musician didn't know it, because Noam and I practiced it before when I came in.
Oh, he practiced it with you?
Yeah, Catalina, I have it on the bonus show. You'll be able to see it. I played a little bit of it on the Juskow the City podcast. You got to hear my new opening theme song. It's the Duran Duran View to a Kill. Just cow in the city. He loves his wings and some beer. Just cow in the city. What?
Stop.
It's the perfect theme song for you.
That's what I thought.
Stop yourself. God, sorry. It's not letting me, for some reason, it won't give me the video. It's like,
just cow in the city.
Oh, no. Anyway, sorry guys. We'll do it next week. We'll show you next week, but
he's a handsome guy.
Oh yeah, see you, Stace. She's got a jet to the handyman.
Bye,
Oh, that sounds sexy. Is here for another round of projects on our home here in New Mexico. Sending love and hugs to everyone. Hugs back to you. Take care.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Catalina. We'll have it up next week. I'll figure it out. And I have a dance video coming soon, so I'll be putting that up soon. Juskow hates my dancing.
I just don't like what you're wearing when you're dancing.
I know, I am the worst. Do you see the one with Stacey Dash? She was dancing recently in a video.
No, that would have been amazing. Where was that?
Someone was like,
she still looks fantastic.
They were like, she dances like her views.
Oh, too bad.
She ain't got no rhythm.
That's not good.
Yes.
She's still so pretty. So pretty. She must be about 50 now. 48.
She should be. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She looks great, right? I mean, she's beautiful.
She's like a conservative commentator.
Yeah. Correct? It's weird. In fact, I think she was so conservative she got kicked off Fox.
Oh my God.
Oh,
she was on
wow.
Fox News for a while. She got kicked off. She's like, too much.
Yikes.
It's been interesting what's happening to Fox News. They have been I forget who it was they were arguing with recently. Someone was like holding them to the fire. Like they seem to be slipping away from that Trump-esque era.
Well, it feels like they kind of like,
which I don't trust, but
no, I don't either. But like, it seems like they kind of have to, just because like there are now like even more conservative like networks out there. I mean, not like on cable necessarily, but yeah, so they have to go more moderate, which is like so weird and confusing to me. And I agree, I don't trust it, but yeah.
Well, we do have to get out of here, folks. Everyone has already left. We have DJ Eric Prince has left. Stace has left the building. We really want to thank all of you for always joining us every Saturday on this YouTube Live. Remember, It's not just this YouTube live, it's also to promote the podcast, Friends Like Us, which will be joining hopefully a very great network soon, thanks to David Juskow's reference. Thank you very
Ooh.
much. We
You're
had a very
welcome.
good
I
meeting
wanted
this
to hear
week.
about that. I heard it was
Oh, it's
going
a
well.
very great meeting this week. They're very good people. I
I told
really,
you, yeah.
really,
I knew you would like them.
it's funny because I've had so many offers before in the past where I can just tell when people are good and when they know what they're talking about. There's a lot of people who will blow smoke up your ass for real, and they'll act like they can do all this stuff. You can tell when they're just lying. And this is not this. They're really good people. I like what they had.
I wasn't sure if you wanted to talk about it because
Well, I can't go into detail.
right. No,
but
I know, but I wasn't sure if you were even going to mention it until it was like.
Oh yeah, I was very
completed.
happy. So we'll see where it goes.
I'm so glad because he's a great guy, and I just thought it was a good match.
It was. And this week's episode that's coming out is our new episode. So on Wednesday is a whole new episode of Friends Like Us. We have Alvin Irby, who's talking about barbershop books. We're talking about literacy and education, because I have to get my niece, who is 5 years old, who gave me the thumbs down when I gave her a book. I mean, I don't know where this child comes from, but she just was like,
it comes from being a spoiled little brat who thinks it's her birthday every day. Hello. The answer is quite simple.
She's not doing it as much. I will tell you, when she gets mad, it is it is the funniest thing, because her eyes, she does this thing where she goes it's almost like
hilarious.
It's almost like watching Yamanika when you tell Yamanika she can't have something.
Yeah.
It's
Boy,
the same.
Was somebody on New Year's who wasn't happy either.
Oh, really? I did not. Don't bring it up.
I don't know. She just told me she was high, and I don't. Just didn't seem like.
Don't talk about her. If she ain't here, she ain't here. She ain't here to defend herself. Oh my God! From Germany,
wow.
George Schilly.
Stuttgart.
Hello. We're about to go. We enjoyed you too. George.
Stuttgart, where you from? Is what that guy who plays. Oh Jesus, that guy who was in Ghost, who was on the subway train all the time. Remember, and he can actually touch things. And Patrick Swayze learns that stuff from him. That guy in the James Bond movies. I could shoot you from Stuttgart and still get you. I don't know why I know that. My mind is full of shit.
That is hilarious. Wait, do it again.
I could shoot you from here to Stuttgart and still not miss the shot. That guy, Victor Chevalier, I think or Vincent Chevalier. He's in Late Night Shift with Henry Winkler and Michael Keaton. And he has that scene. He's like, 4K? Where the fuck is 4K? He's in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He plays it like, please, people, give me a chance. I just switched to Senka. He's in so many movies. He just died a couple years ago.
Aww.
And he was one of those great character actors that you can't believe is a character actor because he looks so weird. How could he play different roles? But he's amazing.
Barbara Walters is gone. We had a lot of people that just did not.
Barbara Walters was amazing and a pioneer. And you forget, I was talking about this, you forget, the fact that she created this show, The View, which had nothing like a gossip show after being a serious newswoman that's still on today, 20 years later, is a miracle. But she started when there were no newswomen, and it's really something else. I don't think she was talked about enough after she died.
Well,
and think about this, Marina.
Reddit dragged her a little bit.
She was being made fun of. She was being imitated.
Oh yeah,
in the 70s, right? I'm saying that's so long ago. She was famous so long ago too, and kept up her status all this time. Where when she was with Gilda Radner, I mean, that was so long ago. That was 40 years ago, maybe more, and she was well known then. I mean, it's really impressive to have that status. I mean, for that long.
Yeah.
What do you call it? When you can last that long.
Like the royal, like the queen. You call it the queen life.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but yeah.
Queen of England.
When you can remain relevant for that long a period of time, especially, well, that's different because that's a
she remained relevant. That's their whole point. If they don't remain relevant, that's why they were so mad at Diana. If you watch The Crown,
it's great.
They're like, this bitch trying to come up on, and I'm the one.
That 5th season is fantastic. It's really good. I just saw the
I hate to
Dodie
spell
Faye or
career.
whatever her name is.
Fayed, yeah.
Yeah, very entertaining
Yes.
show, which is so weird because it's
Yes.
so slow and yet it's very interesting.
I've fallen asleep on it several times, but I watched it.
Well, like I'll watch it when it's daytime and I'm wide awake because I know
I'll tell
exactly
you
what's
what else
happening.
you should watch if you guys get a chance. Menu on HBO
Oh,
Max.
I've heard good things.
Ooh, wow. Is
Is
it
it
good?
scary?
It's I don't know if scary is the word, but it's
Longevity, I
violent. It
think.
is
That's what I'm
violent.
looking for.
Okay.
It's violent. Onion, Knives Out, I did not like.
Oh,
Oh, well, I
really?
never saw the first one, so I got to
You
see
don't need
that.
to see the first one. I enjoyed Glass
I
Onion.
want to see
didn't
the
like
first
it.
one. I like
I didn't. I
Daniel Craig a
loved
lot.
the first one. I did not like this one. This one was too. Here's a star that you know. Here's a star that you like. Here's a star, and I didn't. It's
I saw Everywhere, Everything, All at Once, or whatever it's called, and
Oh,
I didn't
yes.
yeah,
really
I've heard
I
really
didn't
good
like that
things.
much. And I like all those
I
actors in it.
it was a it was intense. There was a lot going on,
Which
and
one?
everything all at once.
Oh yeah, it was too
It's gonna
much,
win awards. It's gonna win
I
awards
guess,
because it
but
was
it's
like
like it's complicated. Jamie Lee Curtis
Yeah.
was amazing though. I didn't know it was her.
oh, she was so amazing in that.
Yeah,
That's why it's gonna win a lot of awards.
she's something else. There's talk about longevity. Jamie
You
Lee
cried
Curtis
a
has
lot,
remained
Catalina. In
relevant.
which movie?
Jamie Lee Curtis somehow remained relevant through the 80s. That's tough to do.
Oh yeah, it was
And
sad.
a bunch of
Catalina, I
bad
do remember
films.
now. Yeah, she does. She's great. I love Jamie Lee Curtis.
Everybody likes Jamie Lee Curtis.
Glass
She's
Onion
cool.
was filled with characters, not characters.
Nice.
Yes, that's what my problem with it was. And I did like the way they used
Hi, Jason.
what's her name? The main
Everything,
Janelle
character.
Monáe.
everywhere. all at once.
Janelle Monáe. I did like Janelle Monáe. I think she's an exceptional actress.
Mhm.
Wait, I
Um
thought that doesn't she work at the Cellar? Who am I thinking
no,
of?
no, you're
Oh.
thinking of Janelle James from Abbott Elementary, who's killing it right now.
So funny. Such a
Oh
good
my
show.
god. All right, guys, we gotta go. So tell us something that you want to do in the new year for something different than where you're going to be next. What are you going to do in the new year, Evelyn? What's your resolution?
That's a good question. Yeah, so actually, somewhat related to what we kind of talk about on here, I think a goal that I have and my girlfriend have is to come up with like
See other
a
people.
long-term financial plan. So meeting with a financial advisor, like getting into the stock market, those kinds of things, creating a portfolio. So that,
Porn.
yeah, it's a goal that we have to start doing this month, and continue the rest of the year.
You know, I can't hear the horn, but you can hear it.
Yeah, I went.
They gotta fix that. I gotta tell them about that because I need to
Well,
hear
you
that
know,
too.
it's just one click on your computer. Probably, I could probably help you.
Oh,
when we
I
get
think
off.
you're right. Let's see here.
But I don't think it's necessary to take care of now. I'm sorry. Yes, you should. See that face, Evelyn?
Thank you, Evelyn. And Juskow, what about your resolution?
I just want to find a publisher for my book. I know it's going to be huge because it's awesome and it's about cats and you can't go wrong. Who doesn't like a good cat movie or a cat mystery? It's me and my cat solving crimes. I mean, come on. That is a bestseller. I only took that from Evelyn's thing, what she said, because getting a financial plan would be real something else. I'll never have that in my lifetime. I know that now. I'm going to live to be 107, but poor. This is what God has planned for me. Thank you.
I had a woman in the audience. She had the worst laugh, and I usually I try to stay away from addressing it, and I did. I thank God, because her laugh, I could tell the whole audience hated her laugh. And she had one of those laughs where she was like, oh. Every time she laughed, I was like, please stop.
You have one of the best laughs. It makes me
Who,
laugh
me?
when you laugh. Yeah.
When I laugh, really?
Yeah.
Oh God, everyone's still talking about okay, for me,
Mhm.
for the new year resolution.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna remain healthy. Try my
Lame.
best. Try my best I've been
See,
feeding.
I want to party as much as possible before I turn 60. So that's my resolution.
You were done. It's my turn.
Sorry, but I think you're doing it the wrong
That
way.
should be your
Why be
resolution.
healthy? Let's just go
Your
for it all.
resolution should be to listen more,
Yeah, that's true.
motherfucker.
I don't see that. I like to interrupt.
You should listen more.
Mhm.
All right, guys, we do have to go. We are wishing you a happy new year. Start focusing on those New Year's resolutions or end them now. Who cares? Just live your best life. Live it like it's golden. And make sure you listen to friends like us. I'm Marina Franklin. This is Evelyn Frick and Dave Juskow. And we're all saying thank you very much. Happy New Year. And Black Lives Matter. Wear your masks.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.